Yay! It's my fantasy football show. You should watch it.
Well, hello and welcome back to all of my friends, my fans, and of course, all of you, my fellow FTFLers, to the longest running weekly episodic fantasy football show out there. That's right, boys and girls, it is time once again for the FTFL weekly update, and not just any update. Mind you, we have been on this ride now 9 seasons deep, and tonight marks episode 150. Woo! Now, of course, I am not only the host of this award-winning program. I am not only the owner of the Hulkamaniacs, the two-time FTFL League champion. I am also the reigning, defending, undisputed consolation champion of the FTFL. And now, not just that song deep within your heart, but the 2024 North Division champion, Hulkamaniacs. That is right. It is I, Brett Sieber, and what a show we have for you this Thanksgiving week. I'm going to put a time on a pause on this right now before I go any further, because as you can tell, I have a seat to my left, I have a seat to my right. No one is there at the moment, which is why I would like to invite to the show father and son, Eric and Josh Light. Come on in, fellas. Join the FTFL Weekly Update 150th show. This is truly an amazing accomplishment. Josh, is this your first time on the show?
This would indeed be my first.
I mean, I think actually you got us. Did you get us a beer last time we were here? Did you get us mail?
I believe you.
I felt like you had a job.
The mail. I did get the mail.
Okay, awesome. Speaking of beer, did you bring any beer at all?
I did.
To celebrate the 150th show?
Here,
All right,
pass
I'll pass
those
that one down.
Wait a second.
Hold, you know what? Give me that. You can't have that right now. To 150 and beyond. Yes! Mm-hmm. All right, so as I mentioned, of course, it is episode 150. What a ride, an amazing ride it is. Now, this week, we're going to get to the games. We're also going to get back to the cringy report. Now, you probably watched last week. You saw, what is this right here? What are you doing?
I'm celebrating. I'm eating popcorn. It's your 150th episode. And, well, it just happens to have some of my team members here. 2 over here, 1 over here. This weird guy in the middle. I don't know. People like his girlfriend more than him.
Why don't you just eat like this? No one wants to look at those people. All right.
Come on.
Now, last week, the cringy report. We thought the cringy report was going to happen. It somehow got like hijacked. Something went completely sideways. Peter is back this week now with weeks 11 and 12. Now, I'm not one to, I guess, call Peter out. But I've been doing this show now for 150 straight episodes. And Peter got to 10. He was like, I don't know. Not sure I can do this anymore. Josh, what is the longest committed thing you've been a part of, Josh? The longest committed thing? School. You know how many years strong? More than 10? More than 10? You had 10 years, Peter. You had 10 weeks and you threw the flag. Thank goodness, I guess, whatever was going to happen last week, that got hijacked. Now, speaking of last week, of course, that was week 11. We're talking week 12. There are 2 weeks left in the season behind us. We have the playoff standings as they stand today. And even though Sid lost, he is currently the number 6 seed. John, my ride or die, on a streak as of late, coming in fast.
Number 7.
Will Sid be able to hold on, or will John climb the ladder and fulfill his destiny and make the FTFL great? Do you know John's team name, by the way?
I do.
Do you? What's John's team name? Do you know?
Dickweed.
It is Dickweed. Thank you. I just want to know if you were in on this. So, have you been watching the show?
I have not, but there's been a few times that I've had to practice remembering the names of each team.
Okay, practice. Just like some weird task you have him. What's going on here?
Between Josh and Anna, they like to sit there and try to figure out whose team is whose.
Mostly Anna.
Mostly Anna.
Okay.
You're right.
Which she struggles.
And so when it came to Dickweed, what were the thoughts?
I think the big thing was they've never met him. So that's one of the hard things. They're trying to figure out who owns these teams, but they've never seen him.
That is true.
They don't even know who he is because he wasn't even on the Zoom when we were here 2
Right,
years
in
ago.
2023, arguably the best draft of all time, maybe minus the cabin draft at Marx's, which you were not at.
I was not at.
Josh, any thoughts, sharing memories from that 2023 draft at all?
Well, the one big one was the pizza.
The pizza,
Yeah,
oh my gosh, dude, Giordano's. I had that third piece, even though I know I shouldn't, and I laid right over there for like 2 hours, just near death.
And that's where we put the rule in that no longer should the champion have to pay for pizza. Now it's the loser.
And really, the loser is Jeff Marxer, and of course, if he wins, or loses, I think he's got to buy pizza, or maybe he brings pizza and just buys all the beer and the booze and that kind of stuff. That might be a fair offering.
Be a fair compromise.
I think we've dilly-dallied long enough. We should get to the games. First up, the Pack Attack. That's you, buddy. Coming in at 8-3, taking on Make America Great Again at 5-6. Sid, of course, fought his way into the 6th playoff spot. Was all proud of it, and then promptly lost 65-99. Now, Sid, again, we mentioned, holds on to the spot. For you, Josh Jacobs, best game of the season, 24 points. Sam Darnold. How did you get Sam Darnold on your squad, by the way?
Well, I got Sam Darnold because, mainly because of Sid's transactions lately. He seems to be changing up his quarterbacks a little bit.
I think actually there might be some more mentioning. I may have some intel. He might be talking about this. I'll be curious to hear, I guess, more. When I saw Darnold on the list, do you have Darnold as your starting quarterback in fantasy?
I'm going to. Week 14,
all right. Hot commodity. George Kittle, 13. Brandon Aubrey, who might be your MVP. Let's be real honest. He's going to win you a playoff game.
And he's struggled lately, too.
Good. Well, because Dallas has been struggling, right? No Derrick Henry, 8 points, tied for the second lowest of the year. Justin Jefferson, over the last 3 weeks, 4.5, 7, and 1. 1 point for Justin Jefferson last week.
Yeah, and it could have been way worse if that 40-yard touchdown between Darnold and Jefferson was not called back because of a pick play.
That would have been tough for Sid to swallow, I suppose.
That's why I really picked up Darnold, let's be honest.
To watch
I had a choice who I needed to pick up for my bye week.
Okay.
And I wanted to pick up the Minnesota quarterback so that he would have to sit there and watch him throw touchdowns.
Wow. Not out to win, just out to like that vindictive twist of the knife while he's at it, too.
That's right.
Unbelievable. If you're Sid, Tony Pollard, 15.5, Kaimi Fairbairn, 11, Justin Herbert, one of his mini quarterbacks who I think we'll talk about later, 10 points. He is not out of the playoffs if they were today, but really I don't know if Sid's team is much of a playoff team. Speaking of a playoff team, the Hulkamaniacs, baby, coming in at 8-3, taking on Trogdor. At 5-6. Oh my God, burn, and the whole thing is just burned smooth to the ground.
Trogdor's burning up.
Yeah, 59.5 points for Adam to my 93.5. Lamar Jackson, 24. Jameer Sonic Gibbs, 19.5. Jason Sanders, 12. Puka Nacua, 10.5. Kenneth Walker III, only 8. Metcalf, 4. That's 12 and 9.5 average, respectively. Both down weeks. Thankfully, it didn't matter. If you're Swart, the man that I guess he wanted all along, which is why he traded away a first pick for Jonathan Taylor, only for 2 weeks later to trade away Jonathan Taylor for a second-round pick and then get Cooper Kupp. Are you following the math on this one? A little bit, right. You finally got him 14 points. Wow, everything's coming to fruition there. 9 points for CeeDee Lamb. Kyler Stupid-Face Jr. Murray, only 4 points. This is Swart's 4th loss in a row. He was, once upon a time, 5-3. And now...
You're not getting away this time. I'm after you, Swart. I got you now. You're cornered. Oh, nowhere to run, fool. I'm tired of your 4-game losing streak. Your season's over. Now you have to deal with me. You're going down. Literally. Your season is over. Your season's over. You all better watch out now.
He's 5-3. 5-7. And staring at buying everyone pizza. We love that. That's excellent. Last year game before the Cringy Report, the Valhalla Vandals coming in at 7-4, taking on the Radioactive Monkeys at 6-5. Peter, for the 4th straight week, finds himself in the win column, 74.5 to Adam Saltmarsh's 52 points. How often is 52 points going to get you a win in fantasy?
No.
Never. The answer is never. You know what? That's maybe the number.
Jamar Chase almost outscored that once.
Oh my God, that couple weeks ago. I wonder if the number muncher would look that up. Has anyone won a game scoring 52 points? I mean, could we put all this data into like an Excel spreadsheet and type this up and have these answers? Where's Commissioner? Where are we on that?
We could. We
could. Is that an off-season project?
Is there some funding? You know, it's a startup. You know,
what would it cost?
Well, I mean, I can come up with a number.
Okay, well, I mean, I think to have that stats, I mean, you are an IT guy, am I correct?
Yes.
You understand computers fairly well?
Yes.
Okay. Even though I've seen you struggle to remember your password from time to time and log into things. But other than that, you seem to have a firm grasp on what is that. That's correct, right?
A
few times. That's what I thought. All right, perfect. If you're Peter, Jordan Addison, 20 points. David, the bane of my existence, Montgomery, 11.5. Baker Mayfield, 10. Run CMC, only 5 points. And Jason Kelsey, like he put on his Chiefs jersey, running around catching passes. Jesus. Travis Kelsey, 7 points. At this time last year, enough with the bucket and your players. This time last year, Travis Kelsey had 105 points. He has 78 at the moment. I don't know if Run CMC is going to get going. You are in 2 other fantasy football leagues, right? You're in 2 leagues. Yep. FTFL 2.0. Jeff, no, I'm sorry, you're not in that one. And you're in one with your friends, yes?
Yep.
Was Run CMC the number 1 pick in both of those drafts?
Yes.
Right, exactly. And all those people are just angry and upset.
One of them traded him away and got Breece Hall in return, but that was, I think it was Breece Hall and maybe Brian Thomas Jr. So it was
for Run CMC.
For Run CMC.
Oh, dude, mopped up. Wow.
Happy this year.
Well,
yeah.
And the person who got CMC does have Lamar Jefferson and Jamar Chase.
Oh, well, that dude's doing okay too.
He's doing all right.
All right. Well, all right. So if you're Peter, I mean, not a real impressive last stretch of the 4 weeks. 81.5, 68, 96.5, 74.5. Doesn't matter as long as you score more than the team in front of you, which this week was salty. Chuba Hubbard back to being the number 1 scorer for his team, 12.5 points. Not great when Chuba Hubbard's your top scorer. I mean, not a bad option, but you had a big trade a few weeks ago. You are 2-2 since then. Jalen Hurts, 10 points, averages 20. Tyreek Hill, 4.5. Had a brief we're going to see, and then they're right to the bottom again. I wouldn't expect a lot. He's playing out in the cold this week in Green Bay. Sorry, Adam Saltmarsh, you find yourself staring up. You got a question?
I want to look back. So 4 straight wins for Peter.
4 straight wins, correct.
But he scored totals in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Correct.
For those 4 wins.
That is correct. Yes.
Wow.
I know, right?
Not breaking the scoreboard, but getting a win.
He's 8-4. By the way, have you clinched your division yet?
I have not.
You have not. And who is right
but
behind you?
But I will clinch it this weekend
after
I beat you.
You think you're going to beat me?
And secure the number 1
seed.
Okay,
yeah, well, I mean, there's an old saying, like, you could wish in one hand and crap in the other, and you tell me which one fills up first. I'll tell you right now.
Why don't you just clap those 2 together, and that'll be your team.
When I take this hand, I clap it upside your head. All right, you know what? We're going to take a break from the games because I know Peter Vinci is chomping at the bit to share with us all of the cringy moments in the FTFL. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is time for the Cringy Report.
Hey, fantasy football fanatics, welcome to the Week 11 Cringy Update. Well, technically, this is the Week 11 and 12 Cringy Update, where questionable bench decisions, tragic losing streaks, and roster absurdities come to life. I'm your host, Peter Vinci from the Valhalla Vandals, here to remind you that yes, your team can still be worse than mine. We missed last week's Cringe Fest, but don't worry, I've doubled down on the puns, the burns, and the face palms. Sid's QB circus, Jeff's epic streak of sadness, Adam's bench warmers that outscored their starters. Oh, it's all here. Let's go. We have a new award this week. Too many cooks in the pocket. This one goes to Sid. Make America Greater for carrying not one, not two, not three, but 4 quarterbacks and still managing to start the wrong one. Who needs depth when you can just hoard mediocrity? Come on, Sid, let's get going here.
All right, and this week's Running on Empty goes to Adam Saltmarsh and the Radioactive Monkeys for their spectacularly low 52-point week. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate you doing this when you're playing me. This is a season low for him and the second lowest score of the entire season. Adam actually left 27.5 points on the bench and wide receivers, a true masterpiece of mismanagement. And need I point out, his record is now 6-6, and he actually could have won all 6 of those losses. Definitely a cringy move. Man, at some point I'm going to have to start paying Britney Spears some royalty fees for using this song so much, but oops, he did it again. And Jeff and the Menominopes are redefining fantasy football misery with a soul-crushing 10-game losing streak. His last win was week 2. That's so long ago people still thought pumpkin spice was exciting. At this rate, Jeff isn't chasing records, he's writing the manual on how not to win. Someone cue the sad trombone. All right, for week 11 and 12, nominations. Number 1 goes to Adam Saltmarsh and the Radioactive Monkeys for that dazzling 52-point performance and leaving 27.5 points to rot on the bench. Adam's motto's gotta be, why play your best players when you can just not? And then there's Jeff and the Menominopes, 10 straight losses and counting. Jeff hasn't won since week 2, back when the leaves were still on the trees and hope was alive. If losing streaks were a sport, Jeff would be the MVP. All right, folks, and that wraps up this week's FTFL Cringy Update. Set your lineups, make good choices, or be like Saltmarsh and don't, because that's what keeps this fun. Good luck to everyone, except the unfortunate soul playing me. May your lineup decision taunt you, your bench points mock you, and your cringe be our entertainment. See you next week for more bad decisions, bench blunders, and questionable strategies.
All right, well, Peter, thank you for that. Now, you mentioned something that Eric was touching on a little bit earlier. Sid currently has 4 roster quarterbacks, but Eric, you are about to tell us that those are not the same quarterbacks he's had all year. And in fact, he actually, they're recent additions.
That's right. Those 4 quarterbacks are all new on his roster since November 13th.
I mean, today is like, what, the 27th?
We're in the last
2 weeks ago.
The first week, he dropped both of his quarterbacks and picked up 2 new quarterbacks.
2 fresh cards in the deck, okay.
And then 10 days later, picked up 2 more quarterbacks and dropped Austin Eckler and Devontae Adams.
Oh, I mean, I get it.
You get rid of those 2 guys to pick up quarterbacks 3 and 4?
Huh.
But you're rolling with 4 quarterbacks now.
I mean, this is a league where we only start 1 quarterback. I know some leagues start 2, right? Are you in a league like that?
No.
That seems weird to me. I don't like that whole cover-all situation, but yep, that's Sid. You're reaching for straws. Somehow you're still in the playoffs. If you and Jeff were to both miss the playoffs, I have to imagine that also would be maybe a first, because usually one, if not both of you, are in the win column. Not that I'm overly sad about that. Onwards to the last 2 games, the Mixing Cocktails coming in at 6-5, taking on Mana, 4-time Lucky Pants, breaking and entering, title thieving, just breaking all sorts of records for all the wrong reasons. Champ Mana at 2-9. Once upon a time, Jeff was 2-0. If I'm telling you now, his record is 2-9. His record now is 2-9. That means he's lost 9 in a row. But I didn't tell you the score for this week. Jeff had his best game of the season at 88.5 points. Yet,
That's his high score.
yes, and he scored 118. Therefore, Jeff ties a 20-year-old record with his 10th straight loss. When we only play 14 games, it's kind of mind-blowing to think that you could lose 10 of those in a row. Not just 10 throughout the season, which would also be relatively difficult. But 10 in a row, Jeff. 10 in a row. If you're Andy, Patrick Mahomes, 30. The Texans defense, 18. Devin A-Chain, who won't be doing anything come Thursday night, 15.5. A.J. Brown, 15. Jake Elliott, 13. Jonathan, newly acquired for a second-round pick, Taylor, 2 points. Kind of feel like the sun has set on that man, which is a bummer. He's a Badger. We like Bucky, don't we? Go Bucky.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Jeez.
That was healthy.
Go Badgers.
Go Badgers. James Conner, 4.5. Andy needs better running back play, although when you score 118 with those kind of running back numbers, I guess you're doing just fine. If you're Jeff, boy, Tua, he picked up a quarterback. C.J. Stroud was not cutting the mustard. 30 points for Tua. Jeff's Chubb, all-time high, 16.5. Wow. That's a hell of an effort by your Chubb, Jeff. 16.5. Jackson Smith, Najigba, 13 points. Ramondre, second-round pick. Stevenson, 2 points. Again, Jeff's highest point total of the year, and it didn't amount to a hill of beans. He falls to 2 and Jeff, 2 and 10. Andy, 7 and 5. Although, because of my division record and we split the head-to-head, I am the division champ, not you. So you're just going to have to play in the first round of the playoffs. Last but certainly not least, the battle for respect. The Architect coming in at 4 and 7, taking on Team Dickweed at 4 and 7, and wouldn't you know it, my ride or die is still alive. 119.5 for John, 89.5 for Matt. If you're John, my God, Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley, did you know he had this in him?
Oh, I did.
You did. You were a believer.
That's why I drafted him in both.
Okay, now you're starting to sound like John. Barkley seemed like a really good player. Right now, he seems like a really great player. Add Joe Mixon to the list. Now, he only had 4.5 points this week, so it wasn't like a ton. But Jaden Daniels, 32. Nico Collins, 14.5. Jacoby Myers with a smooth baker's dozen. Aaron Jones, 15.5. Jalen Waddle, 18. Both those players on the bench. John's got points all over the place. If you are Matt, Cortland Sutton had 22 leading the way. Terry Scary McLaurin, 18.5. Tampa Bay, 12 points. Kyron Williams, 10. Jared Goff picked a terrible time to have his lowest point total of the season, 4 measly points. Matt, not great. Not great.
Matt, you might need some more of this.
Fireball, cannonball. Here we go, Matt. Woo! That one's for you, buddy. That one's for you. We're not in Wisconsin anymore. It's not okay. Here in Illinois, laws are a bit different. All right, let's do the stud, the dud. And by the way, the number muncher not with a report this week, but some fun pictures he sent along. Stud of the week, this one's easy. Saquon Barkley, 42 points. Dud of the week, Jared Goff. Again, when his team needed him the most, he scored 4 points. Number muncher sounds like he has sent in a couple of pictures here. Let's look at the first one. Oh! Perfect. I think that's Jeff with the bag on his head. Thank you, Jeff, for that. Congratulatory on 150 episodes. Yeah, I mean, we're hoping to get to 200 sometime, I suppose, through 2.5, 3 years from now. It may even be somewhere around Thanksgiving-ish. We'll see. Here's another one from the number muncher himself. Almost as many episodes as you have all-time losses at 169. Hey, thanks, number muncher, but no thanks. You know what? You have to lose a lot of games in order to win a lot of games, I kind of think. Is that how it goes? Yes, maybe. I mean, I think if you play as many years of fantasy football, you're bound to have that many losses. But anyways, I appreciate both of you chiming in here right towards the very end.
And by the way...
Hold up. Wait, a surprise run-in.
Jeff Markser should not be able to be in fantasy because he admitted to me over text that he loses on purpose. So if you want someone to lose on purpose instead of me...
Wow.
I'll tell you.
That was some straight...
Wow.
I don't know what to make of that. That was some real hate coming across there.
Well, if Jeff reaches his average in points in the last 2 weeks of the season, he will finish under 1,000 points.
Under 1,000, which I think Saltmarsh did in a 14-game season.
Yes.
Right now, Jeff has 17 all-play victories, which is well below the low of what we went through it a couple weeks ago. It's not great. It's not great, Jeff, and it does sound like maybe you admitted to someone that you weren't trying anymore. Wouldn't be the first time Jeff quit on a season. This is really a tough way to end the episode. I didn't want to bring it down like this. Episode 150. I was all excited, and I still am, because here we go.
I'll bring it back up. 13
with your damn popcorn. God, I hope you know. I don't want you to choke because I like you too much for that. High five. Okay, there. Now it is.
Yeah.
Finally, the connection was made. Week 13, 2 to go. Smells like my dog put out her steak down here. Or is that you? Is that you? Did you stinking it up? Yeah, that's pretty tough smelling, isn't it? Yep, it wasn't me either. Here we go. The battle for the number 1 seed. The Pack Attack coming in 9-3, taking on the Hulkamaniacs at 9-3. Yeah, you nod and smile all you want, buddy. It's not going to get you the victory. I'm sorry in advance. The Valhalla Vandals at 8-4, taking on Trogdor. All out of gasoline, man. You're just spitting nothing but hot air.
This could be it for Trogdor.
This could be it. 5-7 for him. Mixing Cocktails at 7-5, taking on Make America Great Again at 5-7. Also a must-win for Sid. Team Dickweed, my ride or die, 5-7, riding a high right now. Come on, John. Fingers crossed. If not me, then you, buddy. Taking on the Monkeys at 6-6. Adam needs that victory big time.
It's a big one for the
this is
playoffs.
kind of an elimination game as far as I see it. And lastly, the Architect 4-8, taking on Manah, 4-time Lucky Pants, breaking and entering, title thieving. What an embarrassment of a season champ. Manah at 2-10. And that brings us to the end of the show. Thanks for being on the show. Being a part of this. Thank you as well. And thank you all. 150 episodes strong. Man, if we somehow do another 300, think we'd ever get 300? How old will I be? I mean, 9. Okay, so it's taken 9 seasons. In another 9 years, I will be, at that point, almost 54.
Old enough.
You could have jumped in before I said 54. You could have saved me, but you let me say the number, and then you said old enough. Thanks. Really appreciate that. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. But until next week, peace.
So when are we gonna bring up Sid's quarterback?
Right now.
Okay. Right after the cruise.
Yep, he just did it.
I tried to do a high five and just.
Yeah.
No, I tried to do a
and
high
I
five
didn't
to
see
that,
it.
and I just.
So that's on tape during the show.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
Himself. I didn't see you do that.
Self high five. Oh my God, that's so great.
I was like, right before you introduced the cringy update.
Outstanding.